Hey guys, so I've been YouTubing for quite a while now, but have I actually learned anything?
Shut up and sit down.
Hey guys, so I just want to chat with you. My ideas of what makes a good YouTube channel. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, how can you turn it from nothing to one of the great YouTube channels out there? Now, I've not got one of the great YouTube channels, but I feel I'm on the right track. There's a couple of elements missing. Mainly time. People need to find your channel. So let me just tell you what I've learned. I'm still learning. There's lots more to learn, and I'm going to start that all again because I haven't plugged the microphone in. Hey guys, so I decided to keep that in because we're talking about what I've learned from YouTube, and straight away I made a mistake. So I've made some notes. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to go through the notes, and I'm going to discuss 9 key elements that I think it makes the great YouTube channels what they are. So the first one, quite obviously, content. You need to decide what you want to produce. You also need to decide why you're producing it. Now, obviously, you're going to produce something you're able to produce, something that you have an interest in. Excuse me. You will never see me doing a video on chess. It's not something that interests me. I find it very, very slow. You won't find anything about rugby. It's not something it's interest. So that's off the question. Excuse me. My main subject is painting, wargaming, making, crafting, anything to do with that. I do have another YouTube channel, Lady Phoenix. It's been so long since I've used it, I can't remember it. Lady Phoenix was my original channel, which I've had 2-3 years, and I was starting to produce a few things. And then I decided, obviously I'm putting other stuff up, and I felt my audience didn't want to be jumping from one thing to another. So in October I started Paint with Penny. It's practically like starting a new channel. I think I still have subscribers to Lady Phoenix that haven't come over. Maybe they haven't known about it, maybe I've not promoted it properly. Just pause you 1 minute. If you see a flash behind me, I've got a heater on. It's rather cold today, and I'm reorganising my room, and that's the best place for it right now. I've got 2 heaters, one over there in the corner and one up here. Right, so you've decided what you want to produce, and then you've got to decide, can you do it? It might sound like an obvious question, but it's a question that needs to be asked. I would like to produce a video on how to defeat the whole world on your own if World War III exists. But it's not something I can do. If World War III broke out, I'd probably be one of the first ones to go. So you've got to have a subject that you can do. You've got to have the knowledge to be able to do it. You've got to have something that you can pass on. When I first started YouTubing, I wanted to do a beginner's painting series from the point of view from beginners. Now, I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's extremely hard to do. I'll come on to other areas later on, but you need to have, this is your knowledge level when you first begin. This is the knowledge level of the absolute experts. You need to be at least there before you can bring these people up to you.
obviously as you're bringing them up, you still need to be climbing. If at any point your audience has been brought up to a higher level than you, then you can't then teach them anything. So you need to be able to teach somebody something. The next thing, and I feel this is extremely important, is the time. People have made comments to me about, can I sustain the videos that I plan to produce? Right, that's another question in itself. The reason I'm able to do it is because I'm able to get ahead of myself. Again, this is something that will come under planning, which I'll discuss later. You need to get, I feel you need to get ahead of yourself. So for example, I'm planning videos, I'm making videos now that I don't plan to release for 2 or 3 weeks. In fact, this video, I'm not actually planning to release it for quite a few days. The idea of getting ahead is that the difficult projects, you've got more time to fulfill them. With my job, my days off are irregular, my work patterns are irregular. I might be doing an 8-hour day one day, I might be at work for much longer. As a good example, I'm on a split shift tomorrow, which means that I'm going to be away from my computer for 14 hours. Remember, I still need to sleep, so that's taken 7 or 8 hours off me. So I'm not going to get an awful lot of time. Today's Sunday, I've got Sunday off. This is about the 4th video I've been working on today. They're not all coming out on the same day, but it's all things that I can work on. Another reason for getting ahead of yourself, everybody needs time off. You may be ill, you may be having a holiday. So if you can produce, say for example, if you're planning on doing, I don't know, let's say you get 2 or 3 weeks ahead, and then you start working hard and you get yourself to 4 weeks ahead, then you have a holiday for a week, you can do nothing in the week, and you're still 2 or 3 weeks ahead. Then you've got commitment. How committed are you to this project? The bigger the following you have, the more commitment you're going to have to make. If you are promising to produce 1 video a week, your audience is going to expect that video every week. Sorry, I thought I had someone at the door. If you say you're going to produce a video every Wednesday evening, if you were late one day and you produce it on a Thursday, you could lose followers because they're expecting that video. People can get funny when they don't get what they want when they're expecting it. So you've got to decide, is this a long-term project? Is this a short-term project? You may just be doing an 8-week course on carpentry. That's fine. 8 weeks, ends, gone, finished. Planning. You've got to plan things. This is what I've learned. I feel that you need to plan. One of the reasons I felt that I wasn't growing as much as I wanted to was I'd be releasing videos as I made them. So you may have a video on a Wednesday and then another video on the same subject might not come out for 3 weeks until on the Saturday, and then something had happened in between, and it was all over the place. So what I've done is I've structured my channel so that certain types of video come out on certain days. I'm trying to do 1 video a week on specific subjects. There are some that are overlapping. For example, Monday is going to be tutorials using products that I've bought from Asset Drop. Friday is tutorials, which is just basically how to do anything, and Wednesday are projects. So for example, I'm working on some skull crushers for a future project, and then I'm working on some Nurglings. Now projects and tutorials could actually go together, because my projects, I record them and then I delete the sound and then I do voiceovers, and then I fast forward the bits that are, you watch me do the entire project, but where I'm not talking I speed everything up. But obviously I've got the raw video of me doing whatever. Now that means that if I was, I'm trying to think of an example, if I'm mixing two colours together to make a shade of green to paint some Nurglings, I'm going to pick them up while I'm here. This is my Nurglings so far. You can't really see them. I do apologise. I shouldn't have picked them up. But one of those paints was mixed. So maybe I could do a tutorial. Use that raw footage of me painting, and then re-edit that video to make a tutorial, which will come out another day. But here's a great example. Skull Crashers. I'm about to start on some brass work. Now the colours I'm going to use are 2 pots of paint from the Asset Drop. So I can use that video 3 times. Once for the Asset Drop project stroke tutorials, once for the Skull Crashers project, and once for, because it's still early days with my tutorials, the principles of layering or painting metallics. So that's something that I can combine. So that's going to save me an awful lot of time on the videoing. Some of the things that I do are time sensitive, and some aren't. My Skull Crashers, I can release them whenever I want. I can release them in 3 years time if I want. It's still a video about painting Skull Crashers. Other things such as I'm trying to think. Right, my part works. People are going to want to see that as soon as it comes out. So it's very, very important that I release that video before the next issue comes out. So I'm waiting for issue 2 to come out. People want to see that built before issue 3 comes out. So there's some time sensitivity about that. And then there's items that aren't time sensitive that become time sensitive. If I have a 10-part series on, I don't know, making a desk, I can publish part 1 whenever I want. But once I publish part 1, people then want it every week. So in that particular instance, I'll probably record all 10 parts and then release them on a weekly schedule. So you've got to look at your structure. The next thing is groups, promoting your channel. Find every opportunity to promote it, but do it appropriately. So I'm just going to look out the window a sec. What I find is, especially on Facebook, this seems to happen. People will bombard a group with either something irrelevant, or they bombard it so much they lose interest, and all they're doing is pushing things down, and then I just completely lose interest in the group. There's a group on Facebook I used to be a member of, and they've got 15,000 members, and there's so many people posting crap or irrelevant stuff. I will make a post which will obviously push my post to the top. Within 10 minutes there's so many other posts that it's almost like somebody's wants their post at the top, and as soon as somebody posts something, they'll then post again to get theirs at the top, and then all mine, it's just, and nobody sees it, and I just lost interest in the group. The other thing that I do is I like YouTube. I subscribe to all YouTube. I can't get my words out. Let's say Fred Blogs comes along. He's interested in my channel, so he subscribes. Now I will subscribe back. I'm not subscribing for any reason other than helping him. I appreciate that when I help people, people help me back. Likewise, when people help me, I want to help them. Now, if somebody's subscribing and liking my channel, one day they may be wanting to start a YouTube channel. So, excuse me. They need every bit of help they can. Now, if they subscribe to, say, 20 different channels, and those people that they've subscribed to has subscribed back, he now has an audience of 20 before he's done anything. So that means he's got a little bit of promotion. And likewise, by, you know, everybody is subscribing just the once. You can't subscribe twice. And every single individual sorry, I just saw a little tiny, just down there, there's a little tiny sliver. It turns out it's my lamp, so I'll get that out of the way. Sorry. Equipment is the next thing. Do you have what's required? Now, as you can see, I don't have the most professional setup, and my room at the back is an absolute mess. It's certainly not the BBC studios, CBS, ABC studios, well, it depends what country you come from. But I feel that I have at least the minimum requirement. The question you've always got to ask yourself, though, is can you improve? There's two answers to that. No is the first one. No, I can't improve my equipment. So you've got to ask yourself, can you manage with that equipment? I think that the minimum required is a webcam or a mobile phone, a PC with some kind of editing software. Now, all of the software that I use is open source, which means I don't buy any of it. It's all free. Once I've been using it a while, I tend to make donations, but I certainly can't afford nor willing to make donations to the point of what it would cost me if it was commercial software. There's some good bits of software out there for £200, £300, £400, but I figure if everybody who uses and likes the software chucks in £10, £20, maybe even £40, I think that the author would really appreciate that. Can you improve? Yes. If you can improve your equipment, you've got to look at what time scale. My equipment isn't fantastic. I'm having problems with quality. I'm always looking to improve. I'm in the process of buying something next week. It's a microphone, it's a webcam, like I don't know if you can see this, but my light, it comes on a little stand. What I'm actually going to be buying is pretty much the same stand, but you can attach a webcam to it, which means I can position the webcam all over the desk just by moving it. And I think that that would help with my quality. I might be looking at buying some new webcams. First and foremost, I'm looking at a better internet connection. I wonder if that's affecting the performance of my computer. I won't know that for a few days. So I've lost where I am on the notes. So yes, you've got to look at what time scale. My channel my quality has improved, my equipment has improved. And I feel it's improved over a reasonable time scale. It's gonna improve further, but it's not going to all happen tomorrow. And you've also got to look at obviously you've got two elements to a video. You've got the sound, the audio, and you've got the visual, the actual video. You've got to look at the balance of what's important. If you're doing a show which is just chat, so for example this show, the actual video quality isn't as important. What's important is the sound. If I'm doing a video where I need to show you intricate detail, I'm going to just show you some notes. That's not really good quality for video. So you've got to find your balance. So that's where you sort of head with your equipment. Lighting comes in. Let me show you this. That's a little light I've got. It's only a cheap little light, but you can see it makes a difference. The positioning of my light. This is why I bought this one. If I position it somewhere different, there you go, you can see the lighting's probably not quite adequate. So I bring it up and it illuminates me a bit better. So it's, you got to look at the, and also these clamp on the desk rather than have a base, which means they give me more room left over. So the next one is you yourself. Are you unique? Obviously everybody's unique, but you need to see what you're bringing to the table. Otherwise all you are essentially doing is copying everyone else or doing what everybody else does. Now I don't mind doing videos that have been done by other people. A lot of things I'm researching using YouTube, and then I'm looking at what I want to use and I want to adapt it. Let me give you a really good example. I made a paint shaker out of a jigsaw. There's the jigsaw, and there's the clamp, and you put the paint on. Now I'm not into plagiarism, so I'm quite happy to say to you, right, I got this idea from YouTube and I've adapted it to my own needs. I received a comment that said, and I know this video was 13 minutes long, I don't normally look at that, but this guy did say, oh, you spent 13 minutes telling us you copied someone else. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did copy somebody else. But I used his idea and adapted it to my own needs. The guy used the jigsaw to make the up and down motion, but what I noticed from other videos was quite often it was all swaying about. So I used this clamp and I adapted it so that I could keep the paint pot as central as I can. There was one I saw in a medicine bottle, and because he'd put the medicine bottle on one side, the whole thing shook. And I could see that snapping off. And I can just imagine, I mean, this blade is very, very sharp. If you imagine this running up and down at 3,600 RPM, it snaps off just as a small child walks in the room. Yeah. So, you know, but I've taken an idea, I've copied it, for want of a better expression, and made it unique to me. Is that something you can do? Can you take something that's been done before and make it your own? So, 2 top tips I'm going to give you, which I've learned. 3 top tips if you include the promotion, joining the groups. Listen to your audience. Before I made this video, someone had given me feedback on my microphone. I needed to turn the gain up, so I turned the gain up, and I made a couple of videos and I listened. Yeah, they've improved. So your audience will help, because your audience know what they want. So if it's not what they want, they will tell you how you can make it how they want. So listen to the audience. However, keep it within your interests. To give you another example, couple of projects I've got, obviously most of my projects are to do with painting and some are to do with making. I mention this a lot and I do apologise. My Routemaster, I've got told that a lot of the audience that are interested in my Routemaster are also interested in Star Wars. Now they're looking at maybe doing models to do with Star Wars. Now I'm probably not going to go out and buy these big, like this one they do build the Millennium Falcon. It builds a great big Millennium Falcon, and I'm really not sure if it's for me. But what I can do, I'll just reach over and get this. this is something I'm working on. You're not going to see a how-to video on this because I've already started. But this is 2 of my figures from Star Wars Imperial Assault. The quality's not good, but I know you can tell what it is from the silhouettes and the work that I've done so far. You've got R2-D2 and C-3PO. So I'm now looking at perhaps stepping forward my Star Wars Imperial Assault projects, because I know I have an audience that's going to be interested in Star Wars. Whether they're interested in Star Wars figures, I don't know. But listen to your audience and keep your interests within theirs, or keep their interests within yours. And lastly, don't be disheartened. My channel has grown, even the Lady Phoenix channel, it grew very, very slowly, almost to the point where at times I thought, is it really worth it? And there was probably periods of months where I felt I was only doing the YouTube channel for me, and even with the Paint with Penny channel, this channel, early on I was trying to promote the channel in Facebook. I was gaining subscribers, but again there were times when I just felt I'm only doing this for myself. I kept going. I'm looking at ideas. I'm trying to engage with other people. But yeah, don't be disheartened. It's really now starting to grow. Some of that is to do with the contacts that I've made. Some of it is to do with me sitting back and going, right, this is what I need to do. So yeah, that's what I've learned from YouTube in the last 3 months, really. Although most of it I've learned in the last few weeks. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you for watching, and I will
Listen, hush.